Work and Pension Secretary Liz Kendall is here. How's that fit for size?
I mean, it's a great honour. You know, people keep saying, "Well, you must be exhausted," but I feel the complete opposite. Completely invigorated about finally getting the chance to do something.
What are you going to do about the two-child benefit cap?
Well, I am absolutely passionate about tackling child poverty. It is a priority for me personally and for the government. And people have rightly raised this issue. We know the evidence about its impact, but we were, as you know, we were elected promising that we would only make commitments when we show how we can fund them. But we are taking immediate action. Within the first week, I called in child poverty experts and campaigners. The Prime Minister has launched a new task force right across government to drive down child poverty, backed up by a new child poverty unit in the Cabinet Office. We are determined to build on the legacy of the last Labour government, which took 500,000 children out of poverty, unlike the Conservatives, who we saw having 700,000 more kids in poverty.
So what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about the two-child benefit cap?
Well, we will look at, as part of this strategy, and I know you will want us to make commitments now, but we've been
I don't have two children.
Clear.
I don't care.
Yeah.
It doesn't impact me. It impacts many, 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 many of my viewers who
It absolutely does.
feels that it would be a very easy thing for you to do to say, we're going to lift that.
But we have to show any commitments how we will fund them. I mean, I've got 1 in 3 kids in my constituency growing up.
It would be very easy just for you to say you're going to lift it.
But we also have, you know, my council budget's been cut by 1/3, the state of the housing, the issues I'm talking about today with spiralling economic inactivity, people shut out of the labour market.
He doesn't do it, he's going to face a rebellion.
Well, there are many people who rightly want to see action to tackle child poverty, so do we.
Many MPs.
And outside campaigners. I heard them in the meeting that I had with them this week. But they also want to see long-term action to make work pay. 70% of those kids who are growing up in poverty are actually in a household where somebody works.
And you can lift them out of poverty by lifting the two-child benefit cap.
I believe that if you say you're going to do something, you have to spell out where that money is going to come from. And we have a huge range of problems to deal with in government, but we are taking those first steps, that immediate action. And it links, can I say, Kay, to what I'm saying today, which is we now have these record numbers of people, 2.8 million out of work due to long-term sickness, a similar number actually in work who are at risk of falling out of work because of those health problems. We need big reforms to the Department for Work and Pensions and job centres to tackle those problems. And that is the action we're setting out today.
Liz Kendall, it sounds as though you've been pretty hard line on this. When I had Bridget Phillipson sat where you were this time yesterday, she sounded much more flexible. She sounded as though you were going to lift this cap.
I'm not hard line, I am compassionate. Because children who grow up poor, it not only harms their life chances now, it can have an impact for the rest of their lives. You know, have been chairing something in Leicester called Feeding Leicester, the programme to end hunger in my city. I have seen food banks in our schools. I know our primary schools who've had kids who are off school. They go round to see them, and the poor boy, one of them, had only had a bowl of salad cream for his breakfast. So
Which is
I know
appalling, but that's
the
not what I'm
impact.
asking you about.
I know the impact. So you said, am I hard line? I am not. I am determined, and I will only make promises I can show I can deliver.
So Bridget Phillipson was wrong yesterday to hint that it was going to be lifted.
But Bridget is on exactly the same pace as myself, the Chancellor and the Prime Minister, a determination to drive down poverty and up opportunity, not only through looking at people's household incomes.
Can you really afford a rebellion at this early stage of your government?
I've been listening to colleagues for many weeks, not just after the election, but before the election. They know our commitment to tackling child poverty. They know the challenges that we face as a government, all of the problems that we've got. And they also understand we are elected on a mandate that says, you know, we will show everything that we do is fully costed and fully funded. There's so much to do, Kay, so much to do. But we've already started
lifting the two-child benefit.
Well, what we have started with is major work on a bold new child poverty strategy. In the Commons yesterday, colleagues talked about this issue, passionate about it, understanding this is about unleashing opportunity in every part of the country, getting people into work, on in their work, tackling low pay. All of those things will make a difference, and that's what we're determined to deliver.
If we see a U-turn in the Commons this afternoon, people are going to say, well, why didn't she just tell us this morning when she was on the telly?
Colleagues know that we have got this plan for a bold new strategy on child poverty. That work is underway. We'll be, throughout the summer, listening not only to parliamentarians, but to child poverty experts, campaigners. We're talking to children, families directly affected by it too. It's a big agenda for this government. If I take a step back here and think about all of the issues we've faced, from prisons to millions of people locked out of employment opportunities, to the state of housing in this country, to people dying on waiting lists, that is the inheritance we've had from this government. We can't turn it round overnight, but we've made a start.
You have the biggest budget within government, don't you?
I do indeed.
What's the best way of spending it, short term?
I want to turn us from a Department of Welfare into a Department of Work. I think that the last government focused overwhelmingly on administering benefits and universal credit. By, first of all...
Taking their benefits off them?
No. The last government wrote millions of people off, denied them the support they want and need to get work, and then blamed them for the situation they faced them in. That is not what we were doing. The report that I'm going to Barnsley to launch today sets out really clearly that at least 7 in 10 of those people who are not in work actually want to get an opportunity now or in future if they can get the right help and support. There's a huge problem, but there's huge potential. And I'm in politics to unleash that potential in every part of the country.
Another problem is public sector pay, and if it goes up above inflation, it's going to cost you £10 billion a year.
Yeah, and as Rachel Reeves said on Sunday, look, we really value our public sector workers. We know all the pressures that they've been under. We will look at these, the recommendations of the independent pay review bodies in the right way and come forward with our approach in the coming weeks and months. You know, we understand the pressures on the public finances, but we also understand the need about having to recruit and retain staff. So we'll do it in the proper process, and as soon as decisions are made, I'm sure you'll be one of the first to hear about
Well,
them.
let's hope so. Thank you for coming in. Just before I let you go, Gaza a big issue during the election in your constituency. Israeli military has ordered civilians to temporarily evacuate part of their designated safe space. How should the government respond, the British government?
Well, yesterday, the Prime Minister has been speaking about our approach to this issue, our determination to press for an immediate ceasefire, to get the hostages out and the aid in as part of a longer-term approach.
This specific issue?
Look, the position of the government from both the Prime Minister and our Foreign Secretary is we have to get that immediate ceasefire happening. We've got to get those hostages out. We've got to get the aid in, and we've got to use that to build towards the only solution, which is a two-state solution with a safe and secure Israel alongside a safe, secure and viable Palestinian state.
And in the meantime, these people that have been pushed from pillar to post, they feel that they are in what?
I mean, it's been an appalling situation. I don't think anyone can see that without real concern for what is happening there. And I hear that across my city, absolutely, the concerns that people have. And that is why we are working day and night, along with our international partners, to get that ceasefire as part of a longer-term plan to get the solution we need.
And a thought about what happened to Jonathan Ashworth? Does he have a case?
John, you know, it was a terrible loss, actually, you know, not just for my parliamentary neighbour, but for a friend who has given so much to this party, but I know he's got a lot more.
But does he have a case against those that he suggested did not win fair and square?
Well, I'm sure more information will come out about that, but let me just say this. I believe that, you know, when you hear a message from the electorate, you don't do what we've seen from the Tories in the Commons, which is ignore it and pretend it doesn't exist. We have to work hard day and night. The one thing, Kay, is, you know, politics is volatile.
And brutal.
Things can change overnight, but we will listen, we will learn and we will carry on working to earn people's trust and win back people's trust in future.
OK, you've got a train to catch, or are you going on the car?
I'm
Up to
actually
Barnsley?
I'm going in the car.
Probably just as well,
I'm
given the
going
state of our
because
rail system.
I am not 100% sure I'd get there on time or get back in time for the vote. So
OK, it's good to see you.
Really
As
nice
always,
to
I'll
see
let
you
you go.
too.
Thanks very much.